I just got off the phone with an underwriter at a bank that confirms that the car market crash is coming.
Car business, you know, repossessions are at an all-time high.
And repossessed cars are the worst of the worst. They're dirty, they're nasty, they have parts falling off of them.
Cars are getting repossessed left and right, and it's becoming one of the clearest signs that the car market isn't just cooling off. It's crashing harder than anyone wants to admit. Because for the last few years, people were signing loans they couldn't afford, stretching payments over 6, 7, even 8 years just to get into a car they thought they needed. And now, those same cars are being dragged back to dealerships in rough condition. Dirty interiors, ripped seats, worn out parts, all because the owners were barely holding on long before the repo truck ever showed up. And the dealerships know exactly what's happening because their lots are filling up with vehicles that aren't trade-ins from proud owners who upgraded. They're leftovers from financial stress, desperation, and impossible payment plans that finally collapsed. These aren't clean, well-maintained cars arriving with a bow on top. These are the financial casualties of a market built on hype pricing, inflated interest rates, and sales tactics that convinced people they had more room in their budget than they really did. And now that reality has hit, dealers are stuck with mountains of used inventory they can't move because today's buyers aren't falling for the same inflated prices and banks aren't approving the same risky loans. And every repossessed car that shows up just reminds the industry how unsustainable things were. When you see dealerships parking cars wherever they can just to make space, when you see repo lots overflowing, and when you hear managers quietly admit they're not sure what the market looks like next month, you realize this isn't a small correction. It's the aftermath of years of bad decisions finally surfacing at once, and we're only seeing the beginning of the fallout. So if you want to dive deeper into what's really happening in this market and what it means for you, check out some of these videos.
I just got off the phone with an underwriter at a bank that confirms that the car market crash is coming. And you shouldn't take advice from me because I have a bikini bottom shirt on, but listen up. I submitted a customer this morning to get approved for one of our vehicles on our lot. We had an automatic decline, so typically we'll call in and get a manual approval or a push through with an underwriter at this specific bank. This underwriter was a bit chatty today, so she gave me a little bit of behind the scenes of how bad the bank was doing and how high their auto loan delinquencies and car repossession rate has been sky high. I'm talking about like this is the all-time high for this company. Let me post a clip.
I mean, that's the thing. With the crazy rates and the high cars from the auction, and it's been.
And see what we can do on the Mercedes. So, tell me what you got.
So it's a 2021 Mercedes-Benz G-Class, a G550 4MATIC, a night package on it with the AMG package. Just over 5,000 miles on it. Pretty nice spec G-Wagon.
So how long has it been sitting on your lot?
For about a year.
What are you looking to get for it?
I'll be honest with you, we own it for a good amount.
Did you guys hear what's happening to car dealerships around America? Well, I hope you guys understand that many people bought their vehicles at a time when vehicles were at an all-time high. These same people who can't afford their mortgages, can't afford their rents, have let these vehicles return to the banks, causing a bottleneck at the dealerships. They have vehicles from 2023, brand new vehicles that they cannot sell. They have 2024s that they cannot sell. And then they have 2025s coming in right now that the dealerships cannot sell. And these sticker prices on these vehicles are still $50,000 to $80,000. It's so bad to the point where at the auctions where dealers get their vehicles, no one is buying them. Lots are full and no one is buying new cars in America. What does that mean? Well, you will see layoffs at the factories. You will also see a huge slash in the price of MRSP on these vehicles very, very soon. They have to get these cars off their lot. But the sad thing is, Americans still cannot afford these vehicles. Inflation is ravishing this country. I'm out.
The car market has officially crashed. Americans and Canadians have now started to return their keys to the dealership, which has now caused multiple of them to close down.
And here at these car auctions, we're seeing auto loan delinquencies and repossessions spike.
Hey, what's up, guys? John here. Tens of millions of Americans are opting out of car ownership, giving the keys back to lender. They can no longer afford these payments.
Americans now falling behind on their car payments.
The average monthly payment for a new vehicle right now is $750.
Oh no. $47,000 for this little unit.
Where are they going to put them? Where? There's nowhere. No empty spaces. It is full to the brim.
And look, $85,000. That's getting out of hand.
And the consumer right now, with everything costing so much, they are not able to keep up with their payments. So what happens?
Now, obviously, these prices are insane, and even though the dealership decided to give a discount, it is still on the high-end scale, which is exactly why no one is going to pay $600 to $1,000 a month when everything else is increasing. But then again, you guys let me know what you think and if you agree.
Is $96,000. So check this out. This is a full row of $80,000 and $90,000 F-150s.
That is getting out of hand.
There are so many auto loan delinquencies in the system right now that there are not enough tow truck drivers to service all of these lending institutions to get their cars back. And repossessed cars are the worst of the worst. They're dirty, they're nasty, they have parts falling off of them because the consumer knows if they're going to lose their car, why take care of it?
This is some next level shady dealership behavior. This car dealership based in Georgia was just shut down by the feds for installing secret remote kill switches into every car that they sold. These are the kind of nightmare dealerships that you think only exist in movies. But sadly, US auto sales exist based in Georgia. They have 39 locations all over the Southeast, and they've been doing over $400 million in revenue. As all crooked dealers do, they focus their efforts on subprime buyers with terrible credit. Those who probably won't get approved for a loan at any other dealership. What they don't tell their customer as they're signing a contract with a ridiculous interest rate is that they're secretly installing a GPS kill switch to every car that rolls off the lot. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the dealership used this kill switch on over 7,500 vehicles by mistake. So more than 7,500 times customers were stranded with no car at Walmart, in emergencies, or unable to pick up their children. Somehow, that's not even all that they did. Not only did they falsely repo nearly 100 customer cars, but they also double billed customers over 30,000 times, making millions of dollars in bogus money. A federal judge slapped them with a $42 million fine, but unfortunately, they went bankrupt. So the victims of these crimes will probably never see a dime. It just makes you never want to buy a car from a dealership, ever.
So somebody asked me, I'm car dealer Rob, by the way, and I'm a car dealer. I've been in the car business since 1999. I'd love to give these videos and maybe give people a little bit of advice here and there, and also talk about the used car business in general and what's happening with the economy. Somebody asked me if I live in a hotel. I don't. It's kind of like a hotel. It feels like a hotel. But it's not a hotel. It's just a condo. But anyway, car business. You know, repossessions are at an all-time high. They really are at an all-time high, and this is what you need to know going forward in terms of the economy and what that means. And what that means is when repos are at an all-time high, people are losing their credit, and when they lose their credit, they can't buy dishwashers and washers and dryers, they can't buy houses, and they can't buy cars, right? So it's important because millions of Americans lose one car, they have a repo, their credit score drops from a 650 or 700 or whatever down into the low fives, probably, with a repo. I'm just saying. And they can't buy these cars anymore. They get raked over the coals at like buy here, pay here places, or super high interest rate banks, if you will. I don't even want to call them banks, but loan sharks. I mean, that are going to charge you 29%. So keep your eye on that. You're not going to be able to buy a TV really easily, even if you've got good credit. When half of the country starts to default on their to and fro from work and home vehicle, it's not a good sign for everyone else. Now, if you've got money in the bank and you've got exceptional credit, there are a lot of opportunities for you. There are tons of opportunities for you. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're the only guy in town that can borrow money, there are going to be opportunities. If you want to get in the car business and you've got those things going for you, well, sure, you're going to be the only guy, the only business that these companies have. The bond, the surety bond company, company rather, the liability insurance company. You might find some deals out there, and especially at the auction, you'll find some deals on cars, because not every dealer, a lot of dealers are about to go under, man. I'll tell you, it's happening all around me where I work from. We just had 2 doors down from me, a Venezuelan guy who had about 30 or 40 cars on a floor plan with a major floor plan company. And overnight, literally overnight, they loaded up all their cars and they shipped them out of the country while he still had control of them. The bank came looking a few days later for their floor plan, their inventory that they do, because the floor plan company will come check you out once in a while and make sure that the cars are there, make sure all the cars are there, make sure you haven't sold a car without paying them their money. This guy just took off with a ton of cars, and it's over. We'll see if he gets caught. Even if he gets caught, he's in Venezuela. He went back to his home country, loaded up all the cars on car carriers, put them in shipping containers, and dropped them down south. Done and done. And now their floor plan company is holding the bag. They don't care if they have titles down south. They don't care. They're stolen cars at this point, but who cares in a third world country, man? So yeah, that's what's happening, and the car business is happening more and more. My next door neighbor just went out of business, not because of anything like that, but because he was doing well a few years ago during COVID, during whatever other factors. He was doing really well. Spring of this year, he started to decline, and he couldn't keep it going, and he's going out of business. Unfortunately for him, he's a great guy, nice guy, but he's out, and a bunch of other people around me are out. So it's making me tighten the purse strings and be more careful. And I hope if you're in the business, you're more careful too.